Welcome back to Series 3, Episode 14 of our house renovations.
And in today's video, we are finally installing our utility. And specifically, we are using IKEA kitchen cabinets, but for our utility.
So the reason why we chose to do IKEA for our utility was because 2 years ago we installed this IKEA kitchen ourselves and we are super happy with it. It all works wonderfully, all the soft close still works, we've had no problems with it. So it was a bit of a simple decision just to choose IKEA again for our utility. And if you're wondering, no, we are not sponsored by IKEA.
So if you've been watching our previous videos, you will know that this has taken me quite a long time. But if you are new here, if this is the first video you've seen, I've basically spent months and months and months fully changing and converting this room from what it was to what it is now by building partition walls and also building a downstairs toilet as well. And now we're on the very, very fun stage, and that is to convert it into a utility. And it's going to be quite a straightforward thing to do because it is a small room. It's about 2.6 meters long, which is about 8 feet, by about 1.6 meters, which is about 5.5 feet as well. So quite a small room. There's not that many units to actually build. And we're going to be doing an L shape along the bottom. So the units are going to be down here like this. And then also we're going to have one row of top cabinets along this bit up here. And we're not doing an L shape for the top cupboards. It's literally just going to be this one wall here. Because we have this kind of awkward shape in the wall here, it just makes way more sense just to have one row of cabinets. And you'll notice up here that we've actually got a bit of an extractor pipe. That is from the kitchen. The extractor fan from the kitchen comes into this room and then out the side of the house. So there's going to be a little bit of like awkwardness, but that will all be hidden inside of one of the top cabinets. Talking about the cabinets, we are doing an IKEA kitchen or an IKEA kitchen cabinets for a utility room. So now I've basically got to build all of the flat pack cupboards. Okay, so each cabinet takes about 10 minutes to actually build. It's a very straightforward and simple process. I mean, it's an IKEA flat pack. It's one of the most basic and easiest things to actually assemble together. But that's just one thing to bear in mind if you are considering doing an IKEA kitchen or an IKEA utility yourself, then it comes flat packed. It doesn't come pre-erected, which a lot of other kitchen manufacturers and stuff, when they get it delivered to your house, it comes pre-assembled. So that's just one thing to bear in mind. If you don't get it from IKEA and it comes pre-assembled, you need a hell of a lot of storage to basically store all the pre-erected cabinets, where being IKEA means it's flat packed, it's a lot smaller, you can kind of store away a lot easier and just build them when you need them, rather than it turn up pre-assembled. You know what I mean? But basically now I've got to do that for all of the cabinets, but I'm not going to do all of the bottom cabinets. I'm mainly just going to be doing the top ones. And that was the postman putting something through the door. So now I've built the 3 top cabinets, which are going to be going up onto the wall. I want to fix them up against the wall. You might be wondering, how do you do that? Well, with these IKEA cabinets, the way they fix against the wall is with a rail. It's like a rail system. So we basically fasten this to the wall, and then all of those cabinets have little hooks on the back, and then they hook over this rail, which makes it quite a simple thing to do. The main thing we have to do is make sure that this metal rail has a nice solid fixing against the wall, because all of the weight in those cabinets basically hang onto this rail. So we've got to make sure that when it's against the wall, that it's a real solid fixing, because the last thing you want to do is to put this up, put all the stuff in your cupboards, and then the cupboards fall down. That is not what you want. want. And being a utility basically means that I can put these top cupboards at whatever height I like. If you're doing a kitchen, then there is certain regulations of the height of the cupboards with, say, your hob, that you can't have the top cupboards too low because there could be potential fire risks or something if it's too low to the hob. But being a utility, I don't have to worry about anything like that. These ceilings are about 2.4 meters high. And they say allow about a 20 mil, just under an inch gap from the ceiling to the top of this rail to make sure that your cupboards can actually hook onto the actual rail. But all of these sort of heights and measurements, especially for the top cupboards, just depends on the actual room you're going to be putting them in. And I'm going to be drawing a line now, which is going to be about 7 centimeters from the top of the ceiling, because I want my cupboards and the top cabinets to be as flush to the ceiling as I possibly can. We just have to make sure that this rail is perfectly level, because if it's not, that basically means that none of the top cupboards will be level. Right, so these metal brackets are now fully fastened to the wall, which gives me a nice solid fixing for the cabinets to actually hang onto. And I've also got another tiny bit of bracket on this side up here. So this is where one of my cabinets is going to go. And like I explained just now, this annoying extractor pipe is going to be inside of one of the cabinets, so you will not see it when the cabinets are all on. But for me to do that, I've basically got to do some really accurate measurements to get the cabinet on. So this bit is inside of the cabinet, and also this pipe is coming through the side of the cabinet. So I've got a hole in the side and a hole in the top. So when I put the cabinet on, this basically goes through into it and then up. But all of those measurements have to be very, very accurate, because I don't want to lose the rigidity of the cabinet. It needs to hold its strength. So I'm going to be doing some kind of accurate measurements now, and then hopefully I can measure twice, cut once. That's the saying, right? So the cabinet can basically go straight up and hide all of that ugly, horrible pipe. Okay, so moment of truth. Did my measurements work? Can this hook on? This is going to be a little bit tricky. I'm going to put it on one side. Feed this pipe through. Hopefully this actually fits. Okay, so that pipe goes into that hole absolutely perfectly. Now I need to take it back off and get it up onto that other one. So unhook it. Oh gosh. Then it's going to go down. Get one hooked on. All right, one side's hooked. Ooh. Second one's hooked. Pull this pipe through. Well, I'm not gonna lie, that went far smoother than I actually thought. And yes, like I keep saying, that is the main reason why I really like this rail system that IKEA seem to use on their kitchen cabinets, is once that rail is up, hooking those cupboards on is so quick and easy. And once they're hooked up like that, that basically means I can use a few clamps to clamp the cupboards together like I have here. I can put a few screws together so they basically become one big solid unit. And then I've just got a few little lockers which go onto the actual bits that hook onto that rail. So I think now I can actually move on to the fun bit, and that is to get the hinges and the door fronts on these cabinets. Now, we have actually revealed before what color door fronts we're going to be putting into the utility in a previous video, and I'm guessing 99% of you probably switched off before the very end of that video where we revealed the color. We have decided to go for a black door front. Now, they look shiny here, but they're actually a matte black door front. This still has the protective film on the front of them.
I don't think this is the effect you wanted, is it? Ta-da! This is not as glamorous as I thought it would be in my head.
This is going to be like the money shot, Holly, the grand reveal.
I mean, I'm doing my best, but this is not what I thought. Ta-da! And there we have it. That was the grand reveal of the doors. And you can actually see the difference now. This has the plastic protection still on it and it's shiny, and this is the matte black finish of the doors. It's apparently called anthracite, but to me, just looks black. And they are made of recycled plastic and recycled wood.
And you might be wondering, why did you decide to go for this lovely matte black finish on the door fronts? That is because we wanted to do the complete opposite of what we've already done before, and that is have matte white units, what we did in the kitchen. We basically didn't want to have two rooms in the house that looked identical. And you might be looking at them and thinking, something's not quite right. There's a big old gap underneath the door. That is because these are extra big cupboards. Normally the cupboards are 80 centimeters, so these doors are 80 centimeters long. The cupboards we've got are 1 meter long. So we've basically got this 20 centimeter section down here. That is because it's for more storage.
All of our extra crap.
Because we have a lot of crap that we need to be stored away. So we've got to make a decision now. There's two options. There is 2 10 centimeter drawers, or there is 1 deeper 20 centimeter drawer, and we have both.
We just have to decide. The risk is that stuff doesn't fit into the 10 centimeter drawers, or the 20 centimeter deep drawer just gets filled with crap and then you can never find it again.
But that is the good thing about IKEA, is the fact that you can basically order whatever you like, it gets delivered to your house, and then you have 365 days to get a full refund.
That is 1 year.
That is a whole year. So if you're indecisive like we are, order it all, get it at your house, then decide.
Take it back.
Then take the other stuff back, and that's basically what we're doing now, is
Deciding.
working out. Okay, and there we have it. As you could see, we basically did go for a bit of both, and that was two 10cm drawers for this one on the end, another one with the two 10cm drawers here and here, and then this very end one, we went for the deeper 20cm drawer because this one is basically half the width of these. We thought it's nicer to have this one to be slightly different than the rest, and they all have that really nice soft close action, and also the doors above, they also have the really nice soft close as well. So the door handles will go on in the end. So that basically means that I'm now going to start tackling the bottom cupboards or the bottom units. Now earlier, I know I said that I could put these top ones on at any height because I wasn't governed by anything. There's no hob to give me a legal requirement of the cupboards which are going to be above it, no extractor fan or anything. That is why we basically put these cupboards to the highest point I could in this room to give us the most amount of storage and the most amount of space between the worktop when that goes on and the bottom of these cupboards. So it's just utilizing this space as much as we possibly can. The bottom ones, you are slightly governed by height because the bottom cupboards have feet, they have to touch the floor. We just have to get that rail at the exact height that the feet touch the floor, and it also hooks on the back of this rail as well. But they do supply quite in-depth instruction leaflet here, which gives you all the different heights of the rails for different cupboards and different regulations and stuff. But the one I have to stick to now is the one for the bottom cupboards. So I'm going to tackle the door handles or drawer handles, cupboard handles, whatever you want to call them. And we've actually decided to not go with IKEA for the handles. We've actually got handles from elsewhere, and the ones we have chosen are these handles here, and these are from B&Q. If you've watched our series and you've seen all of our sort of renovations, you might recognize these handles. You probably don't, it was a long time ago. We actually use these handles upstairs in the bathroom like 3 or 4 years ago now, and also in the kitchen we used the white version of these handles, and we think they look really, really nice. And the main reason why we wanted to go with these and not just a random IKEA one is because we wanted consistency running throughout the whole house. Because we're renovating this whole house, a lot of the things that we are doing and putting into the house is to have consistency running throughout. So it feels like the whole house has been designed in one cohesive plan and not just randomly decorating or renovating each room independently. So that is the next thing I'm going to tackle, is putting these on here. Now, for me personally, I really think there is importance in the positioning of door handles. And you might look at the way I make videos, or you might look at the way I'm building a utility or basically renovating this whole house. I'm quite sporadic. I do things quite frantically and I'm all over the place. That's because my brain spins at like 100 miles an hour and I'm kind of jumping in at different things at different points. So this is my kind of method behind my madness about door handles. This might completely go over some people's heads, but some people might find this kind of interesting, or you might just think that I'm even more crazier than I originally was. The smallest area to put a door handle is these 10cm drawers, and I'm putting them in the center of that 10cm drawer, which basically means I draw a line of 5cm, and that gives me my center line for these handles. And to make it seem consistent, even on a door which is much bigger and with a vertical door handle rather than a horizontal door handle, I want the same spacing up to the handle as there is on this little bit here. So basically this creates a bit of a square here. So the positioning all kind of starts to match, and you might just think, okay, well, I've got 5cm here, I'll draw a line at 5cm, and that is where I will put my holes for the handle. But then you have to look at the handle, and the hole for the handle is actually 3cm higher than the bottom of the handle. So that 5cm line isn't where you draw the line. The 5cm line is the bottom of the handle, so we actually have to draw a line at 8cm, which basically means that the hole goes in where the hole is on the handle. So when they're fully fastened, you're 5cm to the bottom of the handle. And then you have to basically repeat that on every single door and every single drawer. And that basically means that everything lines up perfectly. And to get it to line up perfectly, the most important thing is to use a set square. So when you're kind of doing the template in your head of all these different measurements, they all line up perfectly for both vertical and horizontal doors, and even if the drawers are slightly smaller, for instance on the bottom ones, that they all have the same positioning and the same center lines. Hopefully that all makes sense.
And there we have it. Here is our matte black IKEA utility. So you may be looking at this thinking, but it's not done, and you are correct, it's not done. And that is because the rest of the things are not from IKEA. We still have a couple of appliances yet to turn up and a solid wood worktop, which is on the way. But we'll be showing you that in another video.
Oh, what a cliffhanger, Holly. Absolute cliffhanger.